Alright, welcome to our weekly update on the Australian property market, where we discuss waves, impulsive waves and corrective waves around Australia. It looks like property bubbles are popping all around us. Some have already popped a while ago and now are limping along, waiting for another hurdle that will flatten the curve. Others are looking for a pin that will end the life of this vacuous, irrational exuberance. Which scenario are we in? Well, at least we're not where New Zealand is. I have a whole bunch of charts prepared for you to crunch, so if you like this content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to show you my favorite chart last. First, it was the Japanese housing bubble that popped in the year 1990 and never recovered since. With all the money sloshing around, the funds found a fertile ground in the most promising economy of that time. Here is wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5. This is presumably where we are now in Australia. It means that this market has concluded the cycle and for the past 33 years has been in decline. I wouldn't trust these ABC formations over the past few years. They don't bode well, as it's only a short relief before further drops. Should we then expect 5 to 6 lost decades here? Just wait for the next chart. Here is Italy's wave 1 after the Second World War, wave 2, wave 3 and 4 concluding in the 1980s. The final wave ended with the 2008 financial crisis that also sunk the Spanish housing market. These two markets worked in unison and ended the cycle in 2008. Notice the zigzags on the way up again. We should expect more drops after that. So let's move back to Asia now. Here's a well-known speculative market that also seems to have popped a while back. You didn't expect that such buying frenzy that took place over the pandemic wouldn't set fireworks under such bubbly market like Hong Kong, and yet it stalled and started to decline. That's a bad omen, especially when you look at the Chinese housing market, which has had a much shorter lifespan comparing to older free market economies. Here is the first wave that ended just in 2007. After a short correction, they managed to extend wave 3 to 2014, like many Australian postcodes. I'm seeing some correlation here. That brings an obvious question. How reliant we are on the Chinese credit impulse to prop up our own market. The final fifth wave ended in mid-2021 among the lockdowns and protests. We have already crossed some resistance here on the way down, which means we should expect more trouble for this market. As the chart of the day, I'm going to present to you the chart of the Korean housing market to indicate how the next few decades is going to look like for most countries. It looks that the Korean market was deeply affected by the events and speculation in the Japanese property market. The final fifth wave started in the 80s and lasted until 1992, so a year after the Japanese one. But what's most intriguing is the attempt of the market to climb back up. Unfortunately, we are in the middle of the huge correction that is going through some retortions and more zigzags that are going to fail at the next resistance. So here are the property markets that have already experienced what we are about to go through. Here in Australia, we are at the peak of all peaks. As per my analysis, we have a few more weeks, if not months, left before it all turns into an Italian or Korean scenario. In the next video, I'm going to go through more housing market charts that resemble our own, like Canada, Norway, UK, and my favorite, the most volatile out of all of them. You can't change the rules of nature. Eventually the gravity is going to reach us too. I wonder what did the Japanese or Koreans thought in the early 1990s. Would they say, nah, the government is going to step in and prop up the market? Do we have anything in common there? We'll find out in the next video. Until then, stay calm and count waves. See you soon.